Welcome back to This Is Why We Watch Movies. I'm Brian.
And I'm Landon.
Today we have a fantastic episode for you, but we're not reviewing a movie.
Yeah.
No, we have so much more to do than that.
That is true.
So we have an entire episode with no movie. But what we will talk about to start with is the trailer for Fantastic Four First Steps, which that dropped today, very recently. So I just want to go ahead and break into it. Like, what are your impressions of this movie?
The trailer is really good.
The trailer is crazy.
It is a really strong, really strong teaser trailer. And if this is all we got, I would kind of be happy.
Yeah, like just have them show up in Avengers and this be the movie. Like it was just a short film.
Yeah, I mean, well, not that, but I mean, like, we don't need more trailers. I am sold 100% on this.
Oh, I thought you meant like you didn't even need a movie. You just wanted this.
No. I need the movie. I just don't need another trailer to sell me on it. I am fully bought in at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about it in person. I don't know if it's been on the show before, but we're both, or at least I'm very nostalgic for the original Fantastic Four.
100%.
Films. Not the Fant Four Stick, but I do think that like this trailer looked well. I really like the, I guess it was almost like a Super 16 aesthetic that the first little bit had. I kind of was upset when it went to widescreen.
I honestly, I had the same thought. I was watching it, and it's like you see it start to expand. I'm like, don't do that. Just don't do that.
Do it. Like I know what I want, and what I want is that.
Yeah, I was bought in because I was like, okay, they're really gonna like lean into the '60s aesthetic of it. I mean, I do wish it would have stayed that way. I agree, but the Michael Giacchino score is so good.
It's good. I really like the casting for The Thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think we really saw enough of Johnny to like get a vibe on it, but and I think Vanessa Kirby. Fantastic. I love Pedro Pascal, but I'm still not entirely sold on him specifically as Reed Richards. More so, it's like an aesthetics thing. He doesn't feel like Reed Richards.
I don't know. I think it's fine. Like, I think he's gonna be great.
Yeah.
You know,
when has Pedro Pascal been bad?
I don't know.
In a comic book movie.
Well, he wasn't the problem.
No, but he didn't help.
No, but nobody was helping that.
That's true. Wonder Woman 1984 was a travesty. You know, I have 2 posters for that movie in my closet.
That is too many.
We should give them away.
Yeah, if anybody wants them.
Yeah, it was a prize. If you want a poster for Wonder Woman 1984, it's like the big colorful one with Wonder Woman in the armor.
Yeah.
It just says WW84. Hit us up.
Yeah, let us know.
I will get it to you.
I probably have at least one.
Yeah, I had more. I have been successful in handing them out to people.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, you know, I'd have to beg people to take a poster for I was going to say Fant Four Stick. I would for that. But for Fantastic First Steps.
Yeah.
That's not the name of the movie.
It's Fantastic Four, the first step.
Thank you. That's a lot of Fs.
It is a lot of Fs. That is true.
But no, I'm very excited for this one. How do you think this one's going to do comparatively to James Gunn's Superman? Because they come out the same month.
I don't know. I feel like they'll do similar. I think that like the Fantastic Four is a big enough IP that they will draw a crowd.
Yeah, I think that what I worry about is that it's been so long since the previous iterations of it that there's not going to be as much attraction for like not the younger Marvel viewer, but like, you know, the ones that are slightly younger than us.
Sure, maybe.
Unless they're drugged there by someone.
Like it would be shocking if Superman didn't make more money.
Yes.
But I do think that it's like I don't think it's going to flop by any means.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I'm thinking like historically to months that Marvel and DC put out a film at the same time. There's not been many instances of that, but I know that Justice League and Thor Ragnarok came out the same month. And then you have, I feel like there's another one in there. Perhaps it was Shazam and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. It was something along those lines. But anyways.
Those came out near the same time, so that makes sense.
But like, you know, I don't think that they play into each other or affect each other because from what I can tell, the core audience of comic book stands goes to see everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more of like the rewatches is where these movies are made or broke at the box office.
Sure.
So, I don't know. It's something to think about.
Yeah, I think it's like, which one comes out first? James Gunn?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think Superman makes more money, but I think both of them do very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for sure Fantastic Four is going to do better than Thunderbolts.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I keep forgetting that one's even coming out.
Me too.
Um,
Not that I'm like, in a weird way, I'm like, I'm interested to see because it's like the cast is so good.
yeah.
Um,
At this point, I think for anything MCU, I would watch anything that they toss out at this point and like give it a fair shot. Because they've had some good movies and they've had some bad movies.
I'm
But-
more excited for the stuff coming this year than I have been for the last couple of years. You know,
last year it was just Deadpool.
right. Well,
then-
I mean, I'm talking about not just like one specific year. I'm saying like in the last couple.
Yeah. And I was gonna say 2023. Really, the only
The Marvels.
there was the Marvels and there was that other one. I'm forgetting what it was.
Oh,
Ant-Man.
Yeah, Quantumanium.
I mean, there was also Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but we don't talk about that.
Guardians 3 was great.
We don't stain the rest of the Phase 5 with that.
Yeah, it's kind of not fair.
Because
Yeah.
we don't phase it with the rest of Phase 5. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's not fair to it because it's such a good movie.
It is so good.
But outside of that one and No Way Home, I don't think that they've had like a great movie since Endgame.
I would agree.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with these. They're coming up, and I think that really ties into what we're going to be talking about for the next bit of the episode. Now, you put together some questions. How would you describe them?
I think like slightly a way to look forward to 2025,
Looking forward to 2025.
and also kind of one last recap of 2024
Okay, yeah.
in some of these. But
Well, let's do it.
yeah, so the first one is, what is your most anticipated film for the year ahead? I put a bunch.
I have one.
Okay,
It's Minecraft.
please stop.
I've never felt more excited for a movie. I'm kidding. It's going to be Mission Impossible
Thank God.
Final Reckoning.
Oh yeah.
And then there was something else that I've completely blanked on what it was. So I know that Mission Impossible 8 is like the main one that I'm like stoked for.
Yeah.
And then closely followed by Minecraft.
That's it's not okay. Mickey 17.
Oh yeah.
We got the new Bong Joon-ho film, so that's exciting. Anytime he puts something out, it's a exciting time. We got Ryan Coogler's new film, Sinners, which every trailer gets me more excited. I'm so bought in on this, like 1930 vampire movie.
I want to see it very, very much, but also I wouldn't say I'm like super anticipatory of that one.
I'm so excited. And then Mike Flanagan's new film, The Life of Chuck, is coming out.
Why watch that when you can just go watch Chuck?
No.
Okay.
Is Tom Hiddleston in Chuck?
No, but Scott Bakula is.
That's not an upgrade. And then we have Caught Stealing, and that is a new Darren Aronofsky film, which is going to go one way or the other, I think, with audiences. I'll be curious to see which way this one goes.
I liked The Whale.
Yeah, I thought The Whale was good.
I liked it pretty well.
And then for the third year in a row, we have a new Yorgos Lanthimos film coming out,
Why?
Begonia. This is going to be very exciting.
Because quality is going to dip at some point.
And this is the one that I was surprised you didn't even say was Avatar: Fire and Ash.
I'm not convinced it's coming out. Okay.
Well, I'm not necessarily convinced either, but it is on the schedule still. Like, they haven't pulled it just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and believe that James Cameron will deliver the film on time, and say that Avatar: Fire and Ash is one of my most anticipated of the year. And
if it does come out this year, I'm highly stoked for it.
Yeah, I think we both really loved Way of Water.
Yeah. Not big on Avatar, very big on Avatar:
Yeah.
Way of Water.
Yeah,
That's kind of
no, exactly. That's it.
kind of the way it went.
And then the last one is Park Chan-wook's film, No Other Choice, which I'm very excited for that as well. So I'm excited for the year. I think we have some really good stuff coming out.
I don't know why I didn't put down Superman. We've already talked about it. I think that outside of like other films is probably like what I'm super excited for.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that too. And we just talked about it.
I didn't even think about that as being a film from this year because Superman is timeless.
Sure.
It's like,
Sure.
it's a Superman, but I'm very stoked for that. So
Yeah.
All right. If you had to choose one film to represent this last year in cinema, what would it be?
Okay. Did you have an answer yet or no?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
Civil War.
Okay.
Now, the reason I say this is because I think just like everything else, there's been a lot of divisiveness within fandom and within cinema in terms of like what is good, what's not. A lot of people arguing on the internet. And, I think there's that scene where he's like, "What kind of American are you?" Well, I feel that way when it comes to Star Wars, where it's like, "What kind of Star Wars fan are you? What kind of Marvel fan are you?"
Okay.
And I'm
so
kind
you're
of
looking at it in the fandom.
yeah, as
view.
in a fandom view, the landscape of cinema fandom or being a cinephile is like the landscape of Civil War.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that like last year, the film that I think like defined the last year in cinema. I'm gonna say I saw the TV Glow.
Okay.
Because I feel like, in a weird way, they're moving like films, and we're getting into a new like I think when we look back at the year, that one's going to be the one that people are going to like. I think it's going to only in the future. People are going to look back at it more fondly than they do, and that's saying something because people already love it.
Right. Yeah. I was
and
going to say that one was very well received.
Yeah, and I think like defining the landscape, or like what represents cinema. I like the idea that it would be a more diverse like story trying to tell something a little different, something we haven't seen from a community that we don't get a lot of, that doesn't get a lot of attention or, like that. So,
yeah, no, I think that's an excellent answer. I saw the TV Glow is up there for films that came out last year.
Yeah.
Top half.
Yeah. All right. So, what's your personal resolution for watching films this year?
Well, every year I make a resolution that I'm only going to watch movies with Harrison Ford in them. And that is not very sustainable, especially when you're trying to run a film podcast.
That's true.
So I think that for this year, I've tried this a couple times, but it would be turning off my phone or limiting access during, because if my phone's on,
I like that.
I'm going to, play on it. I might even be playing Cinnanerdle.
Yeah.
That playing that during a movie is not watching the movie. That's something else entirely.
Yeah.
So I
Googling Gary over here.
Yeah, I think I want to stop being a Googling Gary, and even if that just shakes up to me having to turn it off. But
I like that.
One of the classes I'm in is like if you're on your phone, you're thrown out, and I have a tendency to show up late, which means I'm on the front row. So I'm having to practice turning it off, and that's been interesting to not have an escape from what I'm interacting with.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm here for that. For me, I think it's kind of similar to every year. It's like I'd like to watch a film a day if I can like hit that number.
Didn't you hit that last year?
Oh, I ran past that last year.
I was gonna say.
So that's kind of the goal again, is to hit 365 films watched, and then I think that I would love to go for 100 new releases this year.
Okay.
Which seems like an insane number, but I was really close in 23.
Yeah, I mean, if you do streaming movies, that's not as hard.
True, that's true. So yeah, that's the two big ones, I think.
I see. Well, good luck on that.
Yeah,
I think mine's more easy.
Okay,
everyone could do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
some people do.
Some people do. You?
I don't turn mine off. I just don't. I just leave it in my pocket.
Yeah, I don't know how you have that kind of like level. But yeah, so our next one was looking back at 2024. What film do you think will have stood the test of time?
I mean, I kind of already answered. I think like I saw the TV Glow. People are gonna look back on that very fondly. I don't think it's gonna be The Brutalist. I think some people think it would be.
The Brutalist is being, to me, it's like the hype train is massive right now.
Sure, I think the film is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to me, it's an American epic in the way that like There Will Be Blood is an epic, and like The Master in a different way. And I don't think it's gonna have the staying power that those two films do.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say, like, in terms of reception, how people are talking about it, for some reason it reminds me a lot of Oppenheimer. With like, I guess, drawing a parallel between Brody and Murphy. I don't know, because I still haven't seen it, but I don't think it's like in the same case. Oppenheimer's not a bad movie. It's just like, I think that putting taking off your like newness glasses, it's not quite as fantastic as it was on first watch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I think
That's why I'm comparing it.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Because again, I think that like the Brutalist is great. I don't think that it's going to be the one. I think that like, again, people are going to look back on I Saw the TV Glow for years.
Yeah.
Because it does do something quite different and it's not a story that you've seen before. So yeah. And I think that's going to only bode well for it.
For sure. Mine is one that I think my answer to this question is one that I think is like going to be reassessed. And we've already talked about that on here, but I do think that Joker Filet à Trois is going to have like a fandom resurgence happen in years to come.
I agree.
I think it's going to be similar to the Star Wars prequels, where it's like in a couple years, maybe even 10 years from now, people are going to reassess that film and be like, oh, that's what they were doing. And it's going to be looked back on as being something more than a crappy comic book movie. Because to relegate it to be in the same, like, walking distance of Madam Web and, Craven is crazy.
No, I agree.
And I think it is not even in the same, it's not even in the same ballpark as Deadpool and Wolverine.
No.
Like, Deadpool and Wolverine, you could argue is a musical because of the dance sequence, but...
Sure. No, I think that it's one of those things. It's like, people are going to be much, much nicer to this on a rewatch for sure. Well,
that never happened.
But yeah. So let's see. Where were we at?
Is there a film or director you feel deserves more recognition in the industry?
All right. I'm going to say, Brian J. Hutchins. No. I'm going to say, yeah. But also I'm going to say Mike Flanagan.
Okay.
I think he's consistently put out great horror stuff for the last like decade and a half, probably close to 2 decades at this point. And he's been doing his Netflix shows, which people absolutely love. But I do feel like I don't hear as many people talk about him when they're talking about like best horror directors. And I think this is going to be the year things change. When Life of Chuck does come out, I think he's finally going to get some of the recognition that I think he probably deserves. It only took him kind of moving away from the horror genre, it looks like. It is a Stephen King adaptation, so could really go either way. But
yeah,
his Stephen King adaptations have been very good so far. So
I see.
Anyway, that's my guy.
I don't think I've actually watched any Mike Flanagan stuff. I'm a bit behind.
It's not surprising.
It's not something I'd be into.
Right, you're not a horror guy.
I've been recommended The Haunting of Hill House several times.
Yeah, I think that Doctor Sleep's a good one. Because it's the Shining sequel. It's very good. Like it is better than it should have been.
Okay, Doctor Sleep has been in my watch list on Max for several years now.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I don't know. Mine is obviously myself, but outside of that, it's not that he doesn't have any recognition, but it's been a long time since we've had like a Richard Curtis movie.
Okay,
and I just want like another Richard Curtis movie. He has made some of the, in my opinion, better rom-coms of the last 20 years.
About time, yeah.
Yeah, he's made About Time. And
yeah.
I guess Love Actually is a bit further than that now. But
yeah, Love Actually to me is, I don't know. I don't have the affinity for it.
Of the anthology ones, I think it's one of the better anthology ones.
I mean, yeah, but let's be real about it. That's not saying all that much. It's not saying much,
but between all the anthology rom-coms, I think that one does a lot better. And then also, I liked, for the most part, Yesterday. Which he wrote, he didn't direct.
Right.
But I would like to see like Richard Curtis make a swift return into like filmmaking and directing a new original story. I realized he did a Doctor Who episode as well.
Oh, interesting.
The episode with Vincent Van Gogh.
Oh, that's a good episode.
It's one of the best episodes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bring him back to Doctor Who, y'all. Like, come on.
Yeah.
So more Richard Curtis. I think that just like in a modern landscape, we need more. And I would like him to be recognized for the genius that he is.
I will say that like we are in like a weird era of rom-coms right now where it's like they're all going straight to streaming. And I would say 95% of them are just bad.
Yeah.
So
Richard Curtis could come in and scoop.
So if Richard Curtis, wants to come in and make a great rom-com, I'm 100% on board for that. I think we need that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so this next one's gonna be fun. This one is what would your dream film lineup for 2025 look like? So I'm gonna have you go first.
Okay, well, I would like it to be a rom-com.
Okay.
I want it to be directed by Richard Linklater.
Okay.
I want it to
Good start.
star Glenn Powell.
Okay, let me stop you right there. This is Hitman.
No, it's not. It's about to change.
Okay.
And Lily Gladstone.
Oh, okay. I like that. I
Yep.
like that. Okay.
I want John Gulasarian. I believe I looked up and was the cinematographer for About Time. I just
Okay.
was,
Yeah.
Let's bring it back. I want that, and then I would like for the composer to be my guy from Slow Dive, Neil Halstead. I love his music. He has been collaborating on scores for a couple of independent directors recently. One of which directed a film starring Lily Gladstone. It's kind of a mumblecore, Nomadland inspired thing.
Oh yeah, we talked about this.
We talked about it. I've yet to watch it, but I bought it on Apple TV. So yeah, I think that like that's actually in the realm of possibility that could happen. Is it going to happen? No, but I think it'd be cool. And then I was looking at it and it's like, well, Linklater has not one but two films coming out this year.
Yeah, you said this, and I was shocked because I didn't know that he had one.
Well, one of them's debuting on February 18th at Berlin.
Oh wow,
Film Festival.
Okay.
And it's called Blue Moon, and it is set on the opening night of Oklahoma in 1943.
Oh nice. Okay, cool.
And the other film is a French language film.
Really?
Yes, and it's called Nouvelle Vogue. I can't pronounce it, but basically it translates as New Wave.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the making of Breathless.
Really?
Yeah, it's a drama. So,
Well,
and that one
was there like some kind of drama to the making of Breathless?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie.
Okay, never mind then. Breathless is great. We both know that we both like Breathless.
We've talked about it on here, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's cool.
But nonetheless, I was like, that's kind of shocking. So he has those two coming out. One of them is just a festival release, and then I don't think there is like a set date for New Wave, but that will be
I would
out
be
at some
very
point.
shocked if that gets a wide release.
Same, but also I'm like excited because I'm like, yeah, Linklater's out here doing the thing. It's just Glenn Powell's not in either of them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Travesty.
Do you know who's in any of those?
Bobby Cannavale is in Blue Moon.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I forget who else was in that one. And then the New Wave film is a whole it's all the cast is French. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, imagine so.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah, so mine's I went a little different direction, I think. I went with a horror film.
Okay.
And the director's going to be Bong Joon-ho.
Nice.
Nice,
He
yeah.
did that movie with do you remember The Murder?
Do you remember The Murder? Memories of Murder?
Wasn't
yeah.
that him?
Yes.
Okay.
Lead actor, Timothée Chalamet.
Tim.
Lead actress, Kaylee Spaney.
Don't tell Carlos.
Don't tell Carlos, yeah. Kaylee Spaney. Because I was like, who are the two like young actors right now who I think are like maybe the better actors, the best actors going right now. And those two popped up pretty quick. So, and then Siambu Mukti Pram. I've brought him up a couple of times now on the podcast. I think he's he's one of the best cinematographers working. He mostly works with Luca Guadagnino, and M. Night. So things are looking great. And then composer is Johnny Greenwood, which I think is one of the best composers around. So,
What has Johnny Greenwood done?
I'm
blanking.
So Spencer.
Oh, okay.
He's done a lot of stuff for Paul Thomas Anderson. He's done a bunch.
Basically the stuff that I don't watch.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think he's one of the most interesting, because he's coming from making other music and
Right.
kind of like you were describing with your composer pick.
Right. Coming out from a different genre. I really love it when indie artists and musicians take on doing a film score because they approach it in a different manner.
Yeah, and that's why his scores are always so. And Spencer's score, I think, is maybe the best score of the last decade.
And it's the same way with Challengers and Trent Reznor. It's he's coming in from the. I don't really know what genre Nine Inch Nails is off the top. I know that they're a metal,
right?
They're
some kind of metal, yeah.
But that's it's a whole different approach to songwriting than someone like John Williams. So
and again, I love that too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love the John Williams of the world and stuff. But yeah, there is something exciting to me about like when Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are like,
Let's cook.
Yeah, they're gonna absolutely cook, and they're gonna make a club banger that's also gonna like work for the film. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
I think both of those I would watch both of the films that we picked, like we made.
Yeah. I would give yours a shot just because I'm like, you know what? I trust you as a producer.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I may only give it 3 stars though.
No, that's fair.
How has your taste in movies changed over the past year? Which that's a very stark question because we've been this has been why we've been watching movies for the past, it's been a year last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why?
Well, I would say my taste hasn't changed all that much in the last year.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly for you. Yeah, that's true. I think that like, yeah, I don't know that it's really changed. I think there's things that I've enjoyed more this year than I probably would have. Some more body horror stuff. I think I got into a little bit more this year. So that's probably where it's changed the most. Is I've leaned like I've kind of enjoyed that a little bit more than I usually do. So maybe that's it, or maybe I just picked really good ones.
That could be it.
Yeah,
I think for myself, like historically, I was very into sci-fi, and I mean, I still am.
Yeah.
Most of what we talk about on here is science fiction or fantasy, but as a filmmaker, I've not had the opportunity to do anything like that because it takes more money, and so my lacking budget has forced me into like the drama realm and doing more grounded stories. And I think that this is not in the last year, but definitely since grad school, I've had a shift towards liking, I would call it grounded movies that are more interpersonal, which that's the stuff that you already liked. But for me, it's like I kind of shifted from like, oh, I only like these big box office tent poles to like stuff that I think more so explores relationships.
Yeah, give it a couple years and you'll give In the Mood for Love 5 stars. So I'm excited for that
In the
day.
Mood for Love is not going to be 5 stars for me. I'm sorry, but
give it a couple years. You'll get
Chunking Express. There's hope.
Chunking Express is good too.
But nonetheless, I mean, and kind of what I'm talking about is like, I think there was a period where I would never have watched a rom-com or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I think it had to do with like toxic masculinity and being a teenager.
That's fair.
But, at a certain, I was like, I'd only watch the ones with Matthew McConaughey. But
yeah, you're like, I'm too cool.
He's all right.
Yeah.
No, he's not all right. He's all right.
Okay.
But, that like shifted a lot. It's fun and it's research in a lot of ways because it's like I'm looking at things that other people have done that I could try and do in my own work.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So. This one, I think you were having issues with finding an answer, but what emerging filmmakers do you think will have a breakout this year?
I still don't know.
None.
Like I still don't have a good answer. Like I don't know what was your answer?
So my answer is the gentleman who wrote and directed Operation Taco Gary's, which made the number 3 spot on my top 10 list for 2024. Keep in mind I haven't seen A Complete Unknown yet, but I don't think it was gonna reach that. The
maybe.
Not the top 3, but nonetheless,
I don't know. I quite enjoyed A Complete Unknown, but we'll get there.
We'll get there. The so his name is Michael Kavame, I think, but I don't know how to pronounce it. So if that's wrong, my guy, I'm sorry. But I got to see the film at Cucaloris. It was a very great time. I don't think it's been picked up for distribution yet, so it's just on festival circuits at the moment. And like if that goes out, I think he's going to have a good shot of like emerging out. The other answer, I don't think he's had a film this year, but I also at a festival saw a short by him, and that is Alden Ehrenreich, the actor from Oppenheimer and Han Solo fame. He has been wanting to break into directing, and so he's like been self-financing some short films. They're not on his Wikipedia page, but I think you can find it on his IMDb. It was a very good short film. So I would like to see more output from him, but that's a weird one to say breakout because like he's already known.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be similar to like Jesse Eisenberg being a breakout director this year or something,
Sure. Yeah, maybe. I think that's like, I'll have a better answer for this in a couple of months.
Yeah.
Like once I kind of, you kind of see what the festival stuff is going on, and you kind of get an idea of what people have seen and what people are excited about. You kind of know who you can kind of see who the breakout stars will be.
Right,
But,
like
yeah.
Sean Baker had his glow up last year.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I don't think I would have predicted that, but it happened.
No. Yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe because it's like I feel like every one of his films have gotten closer and closer to that, like, you know, tipping him over, and this one did. But
Right.
yeah. All right. So, what genres do you think are going to have a resurgence in the next year? Or we could do that, and which ones would you like to see?
Okay. Resurgence, this is kind of a facetious answer. I do think superhero movies, obviously, comic book movies. And it's not that there weren't any, but like last year was slim pickings on that genre.
It was also, they were bad.
And the ones that were there were, outside of like Deadpool and Joker, there wasn't anything. So
Yeah. And some people would argue that those,
were nothing.
Yeah.
So and that's why I'm like, well, I think this year we actually have a very good slate of comic book movies coming out. So I'd like to see that. I think that's like a very realistic answer, right?
Yeah.
But no, I think again, if I want to see one, like what I want to see is the rom-com come back and full glory, like not just a streaming rom-com.
I've watched the first rom-com of the year, by the way.
What was it?
You're Cordially Invited, and it is on Amazon Prime. And this movie stars Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon.
A pairing.
And let me tell you, it's not good.
Oh,
it's quite
roasted.
Bad. It's quite bad, actually. I wouldn't recommend it. So, anyway.
Well, we'll hopefully see more rom-coms that aren't bad soon.
I really hope so. Like, I would love to have some good ones. But
like Anyone But You, thinking back on that,
yeah,
it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's an amazing rom-com, but it's like a breath of fresh air in what has been.
I was gonna say, I mean, Hitman in the same way. It's like
I didn't like Hitman nearly as much as you did, but it was still fun.
No, but I'm saying that, like, even if you didn't like it as much as me, I still think you gave it a really good score.
3.5. Yeah.
So, like, in the world of rom-coms that we're living in now, which is like, I generally average
Red, White, and Royal Blue.
I haven't seen that one.
I heard it was good from some non-film people.
Okay, but I'm generally not giving them positive reviews.
Right.
So yeah.
Anyways,
I didn't even answer.
You have an answer. What's your answer?
No, I agree with the comic book. Your opinion on the comic book stuff, because I think the slate this year is pretty strong. So I do think we're going to get people are going to get more interested in it again, and not just the people who are kind of the diehard fans. The more casual people will show up to watch Superman, and then when they like Superman, which I assume that they will, we'll see. I don't know. Things could go wrong, but if they like Superman, then I think it's going to bode well for Fantastic Four to do even more business than it would before.
Yeah.
And then, I would like to see some more psychological thrillers. I think that would be cool. It looks like I don't feel like we get enough. And when we do get them, they don't tend to be all that great. So
that's usually the case. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
How do you think the success of franchise films will influence the rest of Hollywood in 2025?
I think we'll get some more green lights on some stuff, I think, for moving forward. And I think that when the theaters do well, I think that's good for everybody in the long run.
Yeah.
I would hope it doesn't drive more stuff to streaming, but
honestly, like what I would love to see is that they make a shift back towards the mid-budget film.
I agree.
Like that's what we want to see.
Yeah.
But in all reality, I think that if Superman and Fantastic Four do well, it's very possible that the tent poles are just going to get taller because of risk of investment. And so, like, I'm fine with fewer superhero movies, but that doesn't mean that there should be nothing else.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what happens with Disney,
I mean, I think the problem is that, like, it's even like superhero films, their budgets are so inflated. Like,
yeah,
you don't need $120 million to make a Blue Beetle film.
Yeah, or 200 for what most of Marvel's doing.
Right. It's like
The Creator, for all of its faults, is a film that proves that you don't need that.
correct.
They did all of that and marketing for, I think, 80.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that it's like the budgets have just gotten so inflated now that it does kill the mid-budget stuff.
Yeah. So I would like to see, maybe less movies on either front, but all in the mid-budget range.
Yeah.
And that even like a mid-budget superhero movie, which is what I would say Joker 2 kind of was.
I mean, I don't know what their budget was, but I can't imagine
It was mid
crazy.
comparatively, yeah. But I would like to see more stuff like that.
Sure.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be a make or break, though, depending on whether or not those two films do well.
Sure.
In terms of investments for future stuff. Anyways. What's one thing you hope to see more of in cinema as we move further into 2025?
I would like to see more diverse voices like we had in the last couple of years. Again, bringing up I Saw the TV Glow again. I think about that one a lot. And I think that to get more voices from communities that we don't hear enough about, and not just trans and non-binary communities, but communities in this country that don't get enough, I don't know what
attention?
Spotlight. Yeah.
Attention's wrong. I think Spotlight's correct. It's one of those things where, I think the cultural landscape of a society is often, you can map it out based on where the art is at. And I'm just kind of curious where American art is going to go, especially with independent filmmaking and stuff in the next few years, just due to current events and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
We might see some really cool things.
I like to think so.
I don't know. For some reason, the climate of how the studios are operating right now, for some reason, I'm taking the 1970s class right now. It seems reminiscent of what happened that led to the 1970s independent grunge movies.
Which is exciting.
And maybe we'll be back in an era of exploration and new ideas. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, what I'd like to see more of is Coleman Domingo.
Word. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, fair.
I didn't mention, but he's got a small place in my rom-com.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He'd probably fit in mine as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw him in there.
Let's bring him in.
Listen, I think that every movie could be improved by adding Coleman Domingo. So,
yeah, that's true. Creed, much better movie.
Okay, sure.
Just imagine if it was Coleman Domingo instead of Jonathan Majors.
I mean, right now, yeah, that's a good upgrade.
It is.
Which that's probably a controversial take. I don't know. People seem to. I don't know.
I don't mind Jonathan Majors as an actor, but he had some stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving on. You read this last one and then answer it.
What film franchise or universe do you think are ripe for a reboot or expansion in the next few years? I think that I would like to see what needs a reboot. I'm going to say A Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Okay, yeah, that kind of needs one. My headspace went into sequels.
Here's the problem, though. I think that David Fincher made an almost perfect adaptation of the first book, and it flopped so hard that they didn't get to make the sequels. So I would like to see them get a chance to do that, but I don't know that it'll ever happen.
Yeah, probably not. Mine, I have two answers for this.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to pitch both of them. So it's been about 15 years since the last film in this series.
Okay.
The characters in that had children that I think were about age 5, so they would be, roughly 20, 18 at this point. I think that we could get a 4th movie in the Meet the Parents saga, which involves their kids going to college. And perhaps Gaylord Fokker is the dad that is being met. And it would go direct to Apple TV. That's my thought.
I
Like, so this is
As
kind
someone-
of it's kind of a reboot, but it's not.
as someone who watched Little Fockers, I think it's time to hang it up.
Little Fockers was not inspired though. I think there's so much you could do with like Meet the Parents as like a not a franchise, but just like re-exploring it where now it's like Gaylord going through that.
Like, would I watch it? Sure.
Yeah. I don't think it'd be great, but I think they should do it.
Okay. What's the other one?
Do you know how many flavors of cornettos there are?
No.
There's more than 3.
I already like where your head's at. Yeah.
So, why is it only a 3 flavors cornetto trilogy when it could be a quintet?
I like this. I
Or
like this.
saga. Apparently, there's at least 5 regular ones, and then there's like a rotating, like seasonal one, from what I can tell. So there's like at least 2 flavors that they haven't even touched, and it's like, Edgar Wright, this is ripe, man. Just come back and give us another genre film randomly with
you and Simon Pegg,
the boys,
yeah,
Nick
Frost.
Nick Frost. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is finishing up Running Man. That's coming out this year.
Yep.
With Glenn Powell. So I think, yeah, I'm on board with that one. I like that one a lot, actually. So
Yeah, I figured you'd like that one more than Meet the Parents 4.
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Give me the fourth cornetto. I'm ready for that. So
I don't know. I was trying to think of a wittier title for Meet the Parents 4, and I think it would be like, Meet the Boyfriend or something. You know, like because it's a reverse almost.
I don't know. I think you need to workshop the title a little bit more.
Whatever. I think Meet the Parents again is good.
Okay.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Well, that's all that we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to Meet the Parents 4. You know, and all these other things that we've been talking about. I remember a few weeks ago we were thinking about segments.
Sure.
And you came up with one that was like pitch it.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was a pretty good idea.
Sure.
I forgot to reference what that was.
Okay.
And then I remembered that I think there was another idea of like doing a fan casting for a remake of something.
Sure.
And because I recently watched it, I'm wondering if Jaws were to get remade and you're the producer.
Oh.
I want to know
All right.
your choice of director, DP, main cast, all that stuff. Who's writing it?
Who's writing it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So am I trying? So what's the goal here? Putting it all together to put the best group of people possible.
Yes, and then I also, if you are going to make any changes to the main setting and plot.
Okay. Okay. So let's go. I think I'm going to keep the setting and plot the same.
Okay.
I think that it's iconic, and why would I mess with it? Right.
Right.
A director that I would like to see do it. Let me think. Who would I think would be great? I'm going to have Sam Raimi do it.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. All right. And then you have a list?
I have a list. Next is DP.
All right. So DP. Who? Okay. Let's do
That's a hard question.
Yeah, now I'm on the spot and I have to think about who I would like to be the DP here. I'm going to go with try to think of somebody who's done a lot of IMAX stuff.
I can think of like 3 off the top of my head.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Why can't I think of his name?
What did he do?
Oppenheimer. Oh,
Voight van Hoytema.
Yeah, Voight. Yeah, I can't even say his name. Yes, Voight.
Okay, so you got Hoyt. Who is composing the score?
Oh, I'm gonna go. Let's just go ahead and put Ludwig there.
Okay, we got Ludwig.
Yep.
Man, I feel like you should have chosen Christopher Nolan as your
Nah.
Your boy.
All right. I just feel like that I think it would work.
All right, who's starring as Chief Martin Brody?
Ooh, okay. We're gonna go with. I'm gonna go Pedro Pascal.
You got Pedro. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Who's playing Quint?
Okay. I'm gonna.
I have thoughts in my head, but I want you to do it.
Who is playing Quint? Okay, let me think.
Needs to be someone grizzled.
Sure.
Defined.
I'm gonna go. This is hard.
There's a lot of great options for this one.
Sure.
We can go on to Richard Dreyfuss's character as well, Matt Hooper, if you can't think of anyone for Quint quite yet.
Sure. Let's do that. Let's go.
This is more of a fun-loving man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good option here. This is hard. This is very hard to like on the spot to think like,
yeah,
who do I want to be in this Jaws reboot? Okay, let's do. So who are we on again?
We're on either Quint or Matt. It's up to you.
Okay, let's do Quint.
Okay,
and I'm gonna say Coleman Domingo.
Coleman Domingo. Okay, yeah.
I think why not?
Irish man. Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, it doesn't have to be Irish.
That's true. So you are changing things about the plot. I'm just kidding.
A little bit. I mean, you can change the plot a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we're on to
Matt.
Hooper now. Okay, Hooper now. Okay. We're gonna go. Okay, who do I think can pull this off? I want him to be. I would like him to be younger.
Okay.
I
think I didn't realize how young Hooper was the first time I watched Jaws.
Yeah.
And then upon rewatching, I'm like, he's just college age.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So let's do who's around college age. I think is very good right now.
And they could be slightly older.
Yeah, they could be.
Could cheat it a bit.
Let's just go Timothy again. Timothy Chalamet.
Tim, okay, got Tim. And then
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if he can pull off the nerdiness of him. You know.
Obviously this is very similar to every other fan casting we'd ever do on this podcast. It'd be funny if we just stick to the same casting. I think Glenn Powell would be fine. But I think he can do the nerdy, but I don't know if he's like quite as like
I don't know.
bubbly, if that makes sense.
I think he's almost like I think he's too attractive.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
Not that Richard Dreyfuss is not. Don't get me wrong.
Say, why are you insulting my man?
But I don't know. There's something about him. It's like he just I don't know.
I mean, Chris Pratt, if he was slightly younger, but
maybe
he's a bit too old now.
Yeah.
Hang
on, let me look this up real quick. I'm gonna look something up.
He's Googling Gary over here.
I'm Googling Gary right now.
Why are you Googling Gary, man?
Hold on, we're just gonna look up actors under 30. Oh wait.
Actors under that's cheating. I think Timothy Chalamet should be your answer.
I think that's dumb.
Timothy Chalamet.
Okay, these are terrible options.
I just thought of some really bad options. Jeez Louise.
Okay. What do you think? What are your bad options? I would like to hear.
I don't know why Ansel Elgort just popped in my brain.
Oh, I don't want the movie to fail.
Yeah, so that's the problem with him.
Josh O'Connor.
Okay.
That's a really I don't know why I didn't think of him.
What about Josh Peck?
No.
I want him to be Quint.
Yeah, I think Josh O'Connor would work really well.
Yeah. Okay, I see it.
Yeah.
And then finally for the wife.
Oh, okay.
For Ellen.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Lupita Nyong'o.
Okay, Lupita. Interesting. Just for Lipitor. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And then we don't have to do writer. We could just say that Sam Raimi co-wrote it.
Okay.
But who did he co-write with?
He co-wrote with he co-wrote with Ben Affleck.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I like this. This is going to be a successful remake.
I think
I
so.
think we're going to have a CGI shark.
I think we're absolutely cooking right now.
Yeah. Let's just bring in the whole crew from Sharknado. I think it'll be fine.
Well, maybe not. I don't know about that.
All right, and I want to do it again. We have another film that I want you to fan cast, and that is a reboot. You know, I was thinking of like another film that's like overdue for a reboot.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry.
Oh, God.
Let's bring it back.
All right.
And maybe this time we can do like a deconstruction of the whole thing where we're like, oh, yeah, this is actually bad.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I don't want this as in depth. I just want director and who's playing Harry.
Okay. So director, we're going to go David Fincher.
Okay. I love that already.
David Fincher is directing, and we're going to go as Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender. Interesting choice there. I think my initial inclination, it's kind of lame, but I'd probably go with like Ben Affleck. Yeah.
Fair. That's fair. I mean, both of them would be, re-teaming up with Fincher again. I
Yeah.
just think that like Fassbender can bring
Intensity.
the intensity that, I think would be necessary. And also like obviously hopefully get the point across of what I think it should be and not what,
Not what it was.
correct.
Yeah, that's fair. I think if you let someone that adores Dirty Harry as a film, such as Shane Black, like direct a reboot of it, it's gonna be like, Dirty Harry's the good guy again.
Yeah.
And I kind of want him to be like not.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I agree.
Well, that's all I got for you.
Cool.
All right. So moving into what we've been watching, I'll go first.
Yeah.
I've watched several episodes of Doctor Who. I'm up to the Angels 2-parter in season 5 of Matt Smith. So I'm like pretty far into my rewatch. I'm trying to get back to series 14. So got 7 more to go. I don't imagine I'll have this done before the end of the semester. And then I watched Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in class.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've watched quite a bit.
Yes, you have.
I watched One of Them Days, which was very good.
Which one?
Okay. Keke Palmer, SZA, they starred in it. Very good. That's from this year.
Okay.
They have to one of their boyfriends takes their money for rent and buys shirts that are knockoff Gucci, and they have to get their rent by 5:00. Wolfman, the biggest letdown of the year so far. I'm a very big fan of The Invisible Man, and Lee Winnell directed that, and he directed this. This was a massive just like flop for me.
Is
did
it
not
worse
work.
than The Mummy?
No.
Okay.
No. And then I started my rewatch of the MCU.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I'm pretty far in at this point. I watched Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, and then I took a break and watched The Squid and the Whale, which I liked much more this time. Noah Baumbach, early Noah Baumbach film.
I want to break in on The Incredible Hulk. The last time I rewatched Phase 1, I do feel like that one it's kind of an underdog. It's not a great movie by any standard, but I don't think it was quite as bad as some people said. I think
no, I mean,
you gave it 2.
Yeah, but I also like I gave Iron Man 3.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like for me, I'm saying I think that Incredible Hulk is still much better than Ang Lee's Hulk.
Sure.
So that's kind of the metric I'm going off of. But anyways.
Sure. Yeah, and then I watched the Daisy Ridley film, Sometimes I Think About Dying.
Oh.
It's interesting. It was a short film that got expanded into a feature film, and in the third act you feel that pretty heavily. It is like it drags. It's 90 minutes and it just feels like it's never going to end at points. Then I watched You're Cordially Invited. Then Iron Man 2. Thor, and then I watched some of the one shots. Captain America: The First Avenger, 3.5. I think it's up to this point in the MCU, it is by far the strongest. Then I watched the new film Companion, which is imagine Terminator if Terminator there was no time travel and it was a sex robot instead of Terminator.
So not Terminator.
No, but it's a lot of fun.
That just sounds like a Rick and Morty episode.
In a weird way, probably could be. And I gave it 3 out of 5. I think it's fun. I watched the new rom-com with, I don't even know if it's a rom-com technically, with Stephen Ewan and Kristen Stewart. It is a rom-com between a buoy and a satellite after the world has ended. Or, after humanity is gone. And a buoy and a satellite begin a romance. It is as weird as it sounds. The animation, it is off-putting at best. I think the third act is actually kind of strong, but everything leading up to it is not great.
Interesting.
Then I watched The Complete Unknown, and apparently I'm higher on it than most people. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's a very good movie. I think it's a very strong biopic. I was not expecting that.
Well, I remember Walk the Line being very strong, so that's why I was figuring this one would be good as well.
Yeah.
But I've yet to see it still.
I think to me that people are upset that like they leave the film and not feeling like they don't know much about Bob Dylan.
It's impossible to know about him.
And that to me is what's I think works. Like I mean, a complete unknown. Let's be real about it.
Completely unknown.
But it's like I think it's like so Bob Dylan. He is like such an enigma that like even when you watch his biopic, you still know nothing about the guy.
Yeah,
it's like the film starts. He just he appears in New York, and then like you find out like his real name at one point. But then
Robert Zimmerman.
Then they just kind of like gloss over it and move on.
Yeah,
and it's really great. I think it's a lot of fun.
I mean, if you want to get to know Bob, just go watch Martin Scorsese's documentary.
Interesting, sure.
Yeah, I think it's called No Direction Home.
Yes, that's correct. It is. Yeah, I was looking at that earlier. But I highly recommend A Complete Unknown if you haven't seen it. I think it's great. A couple of the best performances of the year. Obviously, Timothy as Bob Dylan is amazing. Ed Norton as Pete Seeger is really good. Like, it shouldn't surprise me that he's great, but he is. Monica Barbaro, she's playing Joan Baez. Also very good. All of them got nominated. And Elle Fanning doesn't get all that much to do, but when she's there, she's doing a good job. So I think that, like, yeah. Then I watched The Avengers. Avengers still holds up. It's great. Give it 4 stars. I still get chills when the swooping camera goes around, yeah, it bangs. Marvel One Shot, item 47. It's not bad. It's funny enough. Iron Man 3, I give it 3 stars, the same as the first Iron Man. There's a lot I like, a lot I don't. And then
filmed here in Wilmington.
Yeah. And a couple more one shots. I watched Thor: The Dark World, which is the worst MCU up to this point. Then I watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is
the best MCU up to that point.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could just stop, just.
Why?
And then let's see, what else did I watch? Before We Go. I watched Before We Go, the Chris Evans directed film.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not bad, not great. I think it's I think that's kind of. Oh, and then I watched. I don't remember what it's called. I watched something in my class yesterday.
That's usually how that goes.
It was a rom-com from India. Some of it was good, but it was almost 2.5 hours, which is like it's a little. It did not need to be 2.5 hours, but regardless, that's what I've been watching this week. Also, started What We Do in the Shadows last night. The show. I watched the pilot of that again, and that's really funny. I like that show a lot. So
nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to really delving back into Severance with you.
Yeah, we need to do that.
I'm gonna wait till there's a few more episodes out. We can just binge.
Yeah,
but what we did see was fantastic.
Yes, the first episode of the season was very, very, very strong.
Yeah. Well, that's all that we have for you today.
Yeah.
As always, you can follow us on social medias at TIWWWMpod.
Yeah.
Or on Letterboxd. Our handles are linked in the description.
Yeah.
And until next time.
Bye.